On April 9th, 2026, a severe convective weather outbreak struck Jiangxi province, with Nanchang and surrounding districts experiencing destructive conditions as a fast-moving storm system intensified into the evening. The most severe wind gusts reached around over 110 miles per hour, strong enough to cause significant structural damage, uproot mature trees, and heavily disrupt power and transport networks. In the strongest downburst bursts, wind arrived abruptly with near hurricane force at ground level, driving rain sideways, scattering debris across streets, and dropping visibility to near zero in parts of Nanchang as the storm core moved through. The sudden transition from calm or light rain to violent winds happened within minutes in several districts, catching parts of the city off guard and triggering immediate widespread disruption. Earlier in the day, Jiangxi was already under a highly unstable air mass. Temperatures exceeded 30 degrees Celsius in multiple locations, while humidity remained high, creating strong, low-level instability. This allowed warm, moisture-rich air to rise rapidly once lifting mechanisms were introduced. As a cold front approached from the northwest, it forced this air upward and triggered widespread thunderstorm development along the boundary. Upper-level wind patterns supported storm organization, allowing multiple storm cells to merge into a more coherent and fast-moving system, rather than remaining scattered and short-lived. By late afternoon, thunderstorms forming along the frontal zone quickly consolidated into a squall line stretching across the province. This line intensified as it moved eastward, producing embedded storm cores, responsible for the most damaging winds, heavy rainfall bursts, and occasional hail. The system strengthened further as cold air from storm downdrafts spread along the surface, reinforcing the gust front and maintaining forward momentum. Between approximately 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., the squall line reached peak intensity. Wind observations across Jiangxi consistently recorded severe gusts, with the most extreme readings approaching level 15. These winds were generated by intense convective downbursts, where heavy precipitation drags air rapidly downward and forces it outward upon reaching the ground. This process produces short-duration but extremely violent straight-line winds, capable of causing damage similar to strong tropical cyclone conditions on a localized scale. Numerous locations reported snapped trunks, large-scale branch failure, and structural damage to roofs, sheds, and temporary buildings. In Nanchang, the impact was particularly severe as the main convective line moved directly over the urban core. Heavy rain and violent wind gusts arrived simultaneously, producing extremely hazardous conditions. Visibility dropped sharply during peak intensity, and wind-driven rain created near whiteout conditions in exposed areas. The passage of the gust front was marked by abrupt wind shifts, pressure changes, and a sudden surge in debris movement, signaling the arrival of the storm's most dangerous phase. Urban infrastructure suffered widespread disruption. Thousands of trees were damaged or uprooted across roads, residential compounds, and public spaces, blocking key transport corridors and damaging vehicles. Power distribution systems experienced multiple failures as overhead lines were brought down by wind and falling vegetation, leading to outages across several districts. In some areas, restoration efforts were delayed due to continuing hazardous wind conditions and blocked access routes. Rainfall rates during the strongest convective cores were extremely high over short periods. overwhelming drainage systems in multiple low-lying districts. This resulted in localized flash flooding, particularly in underpasses, intersections, and poorly drained urban zones. While the flooding was generally short-lived, it added to the overall disruption and complicated emergency response efforts. Hail was also reported in parts of Jiangxi during the most intense convective activity. Within strong updraft zones, ice particles were repeatedly cycled through freezing layers, allowing them to grow before falling to the surface. In localized areas, hail caused damage to rooftops, glass surfaces, and vehicles, and contributed to additional agricultural losses in exposed rural regions. Transportation systems were heavily affected across the province. Roads were obstructed by fallen trees, debris, and floodwater, forcing closures and diversions. Driving conditions became extremely dangerous due to low visibility, strong winds, and surface water accumulation. Rail operations were temporarily slowed or suspended in certain areas as a precaution during peak storm activity. Emergency services faced simultaneous challenges, including widespread obstruction, ongoing severe weather, and infrastructure damage across multiple districts. Despite the severity of the outbreak, early assessments reported no confirmed fatalities during initial recovery operations, although detailed damage assessments were still ongoing, as authorities evaluated the full extent of structural and infrastructure impacts. This event demonstrates how quickly severe convective systems can intensify in eastern China during spring, particularly when strong temperature contrasts, high humidity, and frontal forcing combine. Under these conditions, thunderstorms can rapidly organize into powerful squall lines, capable of producing destructive winds, flash flooding, hail, and widespread disruption in a matter of hours.
Yeah! Yeah! 好家伙！
Thanks for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. See you in the next one. Stay informed, stay safe.